The wooden bows, though sometimes mounted with bronze or copper, compare PS 1834, likely dashed the young men of Babylon to pieces by the hail of arrows, individually polished so as to penetrate even deeper. Jer 51:11. It may be noted that Jeremiah 51:11-28 makes reference to the kings of Media as among those attacking Babylon, the plural perhaps indicating that even under Cyrus, a subordinate Median king or kings may have continued to exist, a situation by no means incompatible with ancient practice. Compare also Jer 25:25. Thus, too, we find that when Babylon was captured by the combined forces of Medes, Persians, Elamites, and other neighboring tribes, it was a Mede named Darius who was made king over the kingdom of the Chaldeans, evidently as an appointee of King Cyrus the Persian. Dar 5:31. 9. 1. See Darius number 1. Conquered by Alexander the Great. In the time of King Ahasuerus, believed to be Xerxes I, reference was still made to the military force of Persia and Media. The king's privy council was formed of 7 princes of Persia and Media, and the laws were still known as the laws of Persia and Media. As 1. 3, 14, 19. In 334 BCE Alexander the Great won his first decisive victories over the Persian forces, and in 330 BCE he occupied Media. Following his death, the southern part of Media came to form part of the Seleucid Empire, while the northern part became an independent kingdom. Though it was dominated variously by the Parthians and by the Seleucid Empire, Greek geographer Strabo indicated that a Median dynasty continued in the 1st century CE. Geography 11:13, 1. At Jerusalem, Medes along with Parthians, Elamites, and persons of other nationalities were present at Pentecost in the year 33 CE. Since they are spoken of as Jews, reverent men, from every nation, they may have been descendants of those Jews exiled to cities of the Medes following the Assyrian conquest of Israel, or perhaps some were proselytes to the Jewish Otextoi acute Muritra Longo. Mediator 361 Covenant exists, the death of that which has ratified it is necessary to be produced. Et for where a covenant is, there is a necessity for the death of that which establisheth the covenant. The New Testament in an improved version. The literal rendering as set forth in interlinear translations of the Greek text is as follows. Where for covenant, death necessity to be born of the one having made for self-covenant. Job 9:16, in for where there is a covenant, the death there is necessity to be offered of the one making covenant. The Interlinear Greek-English New Testament, translated by Alfred Marshall. The rendering of die middle dot to middle dot the ke as covenant expresses correctly the writer's meaning. The renderings testament and will, found in many versions, are inconsistent with the use of the term in the Greek Septuagint as well as in many places in the Christian Greek scriptures. Lu 1:72. Act 3. 25. 7. 8. Row 9. 4. 11. 27. Job 8. 6-10. 12. 24. Will and Testament also are out of harmony with what Paul is talking about, as he is speaking of the law covenant and the new covenant in the context. Neither the law covenant nor the new covenant was a will. At Hebrews 9:16 the Apostle Paul was evidently speaking of covenants between God and man, not man and man as requiring sacrifices. And it may be noted that, particularly with the Hebrews, approaches to God and covenants with God were regularly based on sacrifices, the victims sacrificed sometimes being cut in pieces on the occasion of entering a covenant. It is quite obvious that the law covenant and the new covenant required the shedding of blood in order to go into operation or to be effective before God. Otherwise God would not have recognized them as valid, nor dealt with the persons involved on the basis of a covenant relationship. Job 9:17 For the validation of the law covenant, the sacrifice used was that of animals, bulls and goats, these taking the place of Moses, the mediator. Job 9:19 For validating the new covenant, the sacrifice was the human life of Jesus Christ. Lu 22:20. CNW Appendix, p. 1584. The mediator of the law covenant. Moses was the mediator of the law covenant between Jehovah God and the nation of Israel. Jehovah spoke with him mouth to mouth. New 12. 8. Although actually Jehovah's angel spoke representatively for God. Acts 7. 38. 3. 19. Heb 2. 2. Moses was an intermediary spokesman for Jehovah to Israel. Acts 19. 3, 7, 9. 24. 9-18 As mediator he was entrusted with all Jehovah's house. New 12. 7 In mediating the law covenant he helped the nation of Israel to keep the covenant and to receive its benefits. Validation of the law covenant. The Apostle Paul says, Now there is no mediator where only one person is concerned, but God is only one. 3. 20 In the law covenant God was one party. The nation of Israel was the other party. Because of their sinful condition, the Israelites were unable to approach God in the covenant,